Today's vocal tip has to do with something I'm dealing with, which is getting over an illness and how do you use your voice in a safe way if you have to use your voice through swelling. The best thing you can do if you're dealing with vocal fold swelling, vocal cord swelling, is be quiet. And the reason we want you to be quiet is because we want those vocal folds to stay still so the swelling comes down. I think a lot of times when people go on like vocal rest, they think I'm just not going to talk. But when you go on vocal rest, the idea is to not make sound. It's not to not talk. It's to not produce sound. It's to let your vocal folds truly rest. And so that means they shouldn't move. So if you're making sound, they're moving, whether you're talking or not. So if you're somebody who stretches and makes noise when they stretch, that's making sound. You know, if you're someone who responds to people like, or those kinds of things that you don't even think about, that is making sound. So you're not talking, but you're making sound. And so it's kind of fighting the purpose of going on rest if you're still making sound in other areas. So be mindful of that if you are going on vocal rest, to be sure that you are not making sound. So if you're used to yawning with sound, you cannot do that. You want to try to learn how to yawn and let it be that. None of those vocalises that we do sometimes. Main thing I want to say is, and something I constantly tell my students, but I even share this with friends when we're dealing with these kinds of things, is when you're going through these kind of vocal trauma or dysfunction moments because of illness or what have you, whether you're going into an illness or coming out of it or who knows what, pitch your voice up. So a lot of times the first thing that happens is our voices will pitch down. We'll get real low when you're dealing with a lot of swelling and vocal tension or throat tension and things like that from illness or what have you. And we'll just kind of give into it, and maybe even if you're like me back in the day, I used to love it. I was like, yeah, it's my, sultry voice. It's my cool voice. It's whatever. No, it's not. There's nothing cool about vocal dysfunction. But yeah, and so I would just continue to speak into that place. And that is such a dangerous way to use your voice if you have to while you're swollen. So the best thing you can do if you have to use your voice while you're swollen is to pitch up your voice and place it more forward, further forward and higher, and use a ton of great breath energy. Now, all of this might sound like, well, yeah, that's just good vocal technique. And you have to think about this with speaking too. And the hard part is when you're sick or when you're overcoming something, when you're dealing with swelling, it's harder to do all the basics. So when you're swollen, the last thing you want to do is pitch up your voice. You're going to want to sit and where it wants to sit because the swollen fold